Welcome to Life with Jason, episode 111. The outer world reflects your inner world. Today I will be talking about how we present ourselves, our outer world around us in regards to how we take care of ourselves, how we take care of the things that we have, and all of those things have a deeper reflection as to what's going on within yourself. So join me. It's a beautiful spring day here on my land. The trees are starting to bud and show their leaves, and there's a lot more greenery coming up. It's a beautiful warm day, and we see nature coming alive. We are crawling out of the winter landscape, and there's a freshness that is vibrant right now. And the birds are returning. The spring and summer birds are returning, and I've been privileged to hear the bird songs as I'm out in the yard and doing things around my yard. And this is a time of year where we tend to become more alive because we see life unfolding before us. And I bring this all up to talk about today's topic, with the outer world being a reflection of the inner world. Because winter, we can sometimes associate as winter as being the darkness within ourselves, right? Things that are kind of die off or they go into hibernation for a period of time to wait for the spring to come forth, to bring new life, to bring new freshness. And as I've been walking on my journey through life, and as I've been taking inventory of the things that I'm doing and pursuing and making adjustments within the world around me, there's a transformation that's happening both on the outer plane as well as the inner. And one of the things that I've come to realize on this journey is there's a lot of physical, external things that are in my life that show decay, show chaos. There's a lot of things that I've been doing that are visible if you're paying attention, that show that there's a lot of things that are still buried within that internally. And what I mean by that is a couple of videos ago I talked about decluttering my world, or decluttering your world, and I talked about how my house had aspects of it that were very unkept, very untidy. I just throw things on a counter or on a nightstand or whatever, and it just got cluttered and messy, and I got pictures that haven't been filled with, or picture frames that haven't been filled with pictures and all that sort of stuff. And I said that I was going to work on cleaning up the outer world. And the reason for that is because a lot of times when we aren't taking care of the outer world, it's showing that we're not taking care of the inner world either. And because our inner world has got chaos in it, and has got all these other things happening within our world, the outer world tends to get neglected as well. And so I have been making strides in cleaning up my home and doing things differently on the outer as well as the inner. And I believe both need to be worked on, because we see ourselves in the mirror. There's others that see us, and there's something to be said about being who you are and just being authentic with who you are. And I don't want to take away from that. I don't want us to be focusing on the outer in the sense of putting on a show, because you can also put on a show, a false representation of who you are externally, for the sake of looking for acceptance, looking for approval, looking for adoration in unhealthy ways as well. So what does it look like? And what is this outer world that I'm talking about being a reflection of the inner world? Well, even with the false fronts that we can sometimes put on, if you look closely, you can see through the facade. Some people can be overly tidy, overly neat, overly putting on the show that everything is pristine and polished and perfect on the outside, but yet on the inside they're a mess. And so sometimes we have to be mindful of what we're seeing. And it's not that we're scouting to look to see that there's something wrong with every person that is in our lives. And it's not for us to judge. It's just for something to be aware of. See, because we all want approval of some sort. We all want to be acknowledged to some point. And we all want to feel alive. Like what we're experiencing here now in spring, a new fresh vibrance of life. And as I've been on this journey for growth, as I've been pursuing a way to live my life differently, as I seek to create a new company that is going to be geared towards helping other men on their journey and eventually expand to helping women, couples and families, and so on and so forth. I really got to take a look at the reasons why I'm doing this stuff. You see, because even in that action, this desire to help others, this desire to see that, you know what, I've been through some challenging times in my life, and I recognize the value of having support from others and how valuable it is to have that support, that community, that camaraderie while you're walking through life's challenges. But I have to also evaluate, like, okay, why am I doing this? Am I doing it for vanity's sake? Am I doing it for the sake of look at me? Or is there something genuine there? Or is there a part of me that's doing it for myself? Because I'm stretching myself in new ways. Going from a person who was afraid to share his opinions or was worried about, what other people would think, or wasn't very confrontational, to becoming a person who produces these videos on a weekly basis, to pursuing a career where I'll be sharing a lot of different perspectives. And it's not for me to tell people what or what not to think. That's not the point. And that's what I share with these videos. It's not the point of these videos. Oh, there's some horses here. The point is just to share things through life and to be able to express and feel free to express. The desire to help, I believe, is a true desire to help. A true desire to give back and to not hold on to the things that I have learned. And so that's one of the challenges that I have when it comes to representing myself, my outer world. I have moments like yesterday where I made great strides and I made good steps forward in the process of what I'm doing with Lifting the Soul Ministries. And then today, I fall into a little bit of a slump. And I'm lying on the couch and wasting time and just allowing time to slip by. I'm even recording this video later in the afternoon versus in the morning like I normally do. And there's no real excuse for it other than the fact that I decided to waste time. And I say that, I decided to, because I have to take responsibility for my own actions. When I think about my own outer world and I think about, how I dress and, whether I shave or not, how I show up publicly, how I show up when I greet people, they're all a form of expression of my outer world that shows a little bit of what's going on in my inner world. And yeah, people can make assumptions. They're pretty loud, aren't they? People can make assumptions about others based off of how they appear and all that other kind of stuff. And some people purposely do dress down to kind of hide themselves from, because there's a part of them that doesn't want to show the fullness of who they are. I keep thinking one of those horses was following me. And that's something that I've got to consider is, what am I hiding from? What am I hiding from? When I showed up at work for a lot of years, my thoughts were, well, I'm a tradesperson. I get dirty every day. The type of job that I did, was a job that was dirty. It was greasy, it was grimy, crawling in and out of things. I'm working with oils and other stuff as I'm threading pipe, and there's so many things that just, it's a dirty job. And there's nothing wrong with having a dirty job. But part of the thing is like, well, my clothes, I'm just going to let them get dirty, and I'll wear the same clothes for, a week, 2 weeks, whatever. I change my undergarments and stuff, but the outer garments, I would just wear the same things. And some people would say, well, it's just, you being thrifty and it's just getting dirty and it saves from doing extra laundry and all that sort of stuff. You make all sorts of excuses for what it is. But there's a part that you gotta consider, like, well, just because my job is a dirty job, does that mean that I have to live as a dirty person? And, yes, I did shower every day after work and all that sort of stuff. And so there's ways that I did take care of myself. But I didn't always represent myself as being somebody who took care of himself. And that's in a large ways because internally there's a lot of myself that didn't see the value in who I was as a person. I didn't see the true value that I had. I sometimes felt it. And there's parts of me that were like, yeah, like I'm worth more than this. I'm worth more than how this, other things. But I didn't present myself as being worth more, because deep inside of me, there was that part of me that had that sense of unworthiness. And there's also practical things in it as well, like, but again, that's also a reflection of my inner world. I think about right now the truck that I'm driving. It's got 460,000 kilometers on it, or no, 446,000 kilometers on it. Sorry, and it's, there's a lot of repairs that I've been putting into it the last couple of years, keeping it going. Largely because one, people say, well, you could have, with all the money you've put into it, you could have bought another newer used vehicle. And that's very true. But there's a mental stop in there that's still living in scarcity. There's a mental stop in there that's still kind of saying that, you're not valuable enough to earn the money that is required to get yourself a newer vehicle. And or even wash my vehicle, right? My truck is a work truck, and if you were to go on the inside of the truck, it's dirty because the inside of the truck hasn't been fully cleaned in years. I've done a little bit of cleaning here and there, but I mean, really, it's really gross and grimy. And these are all little hints and reflections of how I think of myself. And it's something that I've been aware of for a while, and it is something that I'm moving towards changing. But there's still those times in my life where I struggle. I struggle with that deep inner core feeling. And it is changing. I have moments where I am strong in my thoughts and I persevere and I push through. And, and I can't speak and say that everything that's happened right now is, oh, I'm down. I'm not. When I really take a real good look at my life from where I was, newly separated from my wife, being in a relationship with her for over 20 years, to the first couple of years of after that separation, of being in a deep depression, hiding, not knowing what to do, to seeing a spark and a recognition that, hey, something's got to change. And that something has got to be within me, because I'm the common denominator in my life. And to see the growth that has transpired in the last 3.5 years, has really, like, I can't even hardly express it in words. And I'm sure that all of you who have been following me for the last 2+ years as I've been producing these videos and sharing them with you every week have noticed a great change with myself as a person. The healing that I've walked through, the questions that I've asked. It's been a remarkable journey. And I don't, I'm not some guru or anything. I don't want to, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal or anything like that. I'm just acknowledging the fact that there has been change, there has been growth. And it's important to acknowledge that. It's important to acknowledge successes that are happening in your life, both internally and externally. It's important to celebrate these achievements and still recognize that, as far as I have come, there's still more to go. And every day that I take a step forward, every day that I wake up and I do something new, every day that I wake up and I challenge myself in a new way, I change, I grow, and I adapt, and I awaken something new within me. Just like we're here in spring, a new awakening, greenery coming to life. As I make adjustments to my outer world, I'm making those adjustments to my outer world because I'm more recognizing that my inner world is changing. And so because my inner world is changing and how I perceive myself on the inside is changing, so I want to show that through changing my outer world as well. I want to, because I feel better about myself. I'm feeling more confident about who I am as a person. Even in the days like today where I'm having more of a struggle to move forward, even though it's a beautiful day, I get caught up in time wasters. But it's not about condemning myself because of a day like today. It's saying, okay, well, here you are, this is where you're at today, and the day's not over, so that doesn't mean that I can't change partway through the day and do something different. Still, the day is still, it's only 3 o'clock. So there's still plenty of daylight left. There's still plenty of opportunity left to do something different. There's still plenty of opportunity for me to challenge myself today. And yesterday I had a breakthrough. Yesterday I had a breakthrough with upgrading the software on my computer for video editing. And I was able to play with new editing tools on the editing software and transpose a green screen from a short film that I did for Lifting the Soul Ministries, and edit out the green screen and put in the logo and stuff of Lifting the Soul Ministries in behind me as my background. It wasn't perfect. Every once in a while you would see a little bit of a shadow of the green screen pop up on my right arm, and you'd see a little bit of green screen in my hair because my hair tends to be pretty fine and stuff like that. But I managed to get rid of a lot of the micro edges around my shoulders and all sorts of stuff by playing with the tools and stretching myself in a new way to edit videos in a new way, which means I'll be able to do a better job of editing these videos by creating more color and bringing out the vibrancy of these videos and stuff like that. Like, there's so much more opportunity that I can do with these new tools. And I tested out the microphone and all that sort of stuff, and the sound quality and everything is growing. So I'm doing things because I see the value in myself, and it's worthwhile for me because of the value that I have and what I share and all that sort of stuff, even if it's just a small tidbit, is worth it. And being able to share my thoughts, my perspectives with you guys is a privilege, and I don't take that lightly. And I'm thankful for this opportunity. I'm thankful for all of you who tune in, and to see the growth of this channel. And you know, it's coming in baby steps, but it's growing. As more and more people become aware of these messages and stuff, my hope and my desire is that you guys will reflect on your own lives. And see where, oh, you know what? I may have a pretty good life right now, but there's some things that I could do better. There's some things that I hold myself back on because of some preconceived fear. What would this is a question I asked. I put a brochure together. That's the other thing I did yesterday. I put a brochure together for Lifting the Soul Ministries. And there's 3 questions that I asked in the brochure. And one of them was, you know, what in your life, or what is stopping you from living the best version of yourself, or something along those lines? And what are the consequences of you not living the best version of yourself, not only for yourself, but for those around you, your family, your friends, your community? And the last one is, what will it take for you to make the choice to live the best version of yourself so that you can give more of yourself freely and openly to those around you? See, the world, the outer world, is waiting for people to step up and be the best versions of themselves. The outer world is looking for inspiration, for others to forge a path. And it could be as simple as being a mother or father to your child in ways that you haven't been yet. It could be as simple as loving your spouse in a way that you've never loved them before, by being able to give more of yourself because you see more value in who you are as a person, and so there you have more to give. So, you know, when I think about my faith, and I think about Psalm 23, right? My cup runneth over, right? It's speaking of having faith in God and having God walk alongside you and walking through these valleys, shadows of death, and facing your enemies, and how God can pour into your life to the point where you're overflowing. And you're overflowing because you have more to give. You have more abundance to give. You have more of yourself to give. And I truly believe when you are operating from that perspective, things like burnout don't happen because it's something that just flows from you. But you got to be able to also be able to receive the incoming that is being poured within you, into you. And I do believe that God, our Creator, doesn't want us to be living empty lives. And when we hide ourselves from the outer world, when we hide ourselves from fears, when we hide ourselves through these concepts of not being good enough or not being worthy enough, the world around us is missing out on the best parts of who you are. And so I really would like to challenge you to evaluate by looking at your outer world and even looking at your inner world and seeing how they mirror each other. And really saying to yourself, okay, am I truly living the best version of myself right now? Am I truly going all in? Because I'll be honest with you, as I shared this morning, or just shared in this video, today I wasn't going all in. Today I wasn't. And we don't have to every day go all in. Every waking hour. We don't have to go all in every waking hour. I don't want to paint that kind of picture that we got to be some kind of superhuman. I'm talking about being real, being authentic. It's about, okay, well today, 20% was all I had today. But the day's not over, so I could give a final push. Tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow can bring new opportunities. Tomorrow, maybe I'll be operating at 80%. But it's recognizing that where we are in the moment. It's recognizing that, you know what, we can make adjustments to the inner world and the outer world and how they affect both, how they affect each other. So what is it going to take for you to live the best version of yourself? What are the consequences of you not living that best version of yourself? What is the best version of yourself? When you look at yourself and you look at yourself in the mirror, what is the best version of yourself? Can you even envision that? Do you even know what that looks like? For a lot of people, that's something that they have a hard enough time even conceptualizing and looking at. But I believe there's value in looking and answering those questions. There's value in seeing what can be there. And that could change over time. And that's okay, because you know what? As you continue to grow, as you continue to push forward, as you continue to change, you will see new things, you'll perceive new things, and you will have, oh wow, I can do this? Yeah. It's a beautiful place to be in. And so I'll leave it at that. Until next time, much love.